It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Oscar Duarte versus JoJo Diaz, and this was a 10-rounder in the the super lightweight division, and this fight was Saturday, April 27th from the Save More Arena in Fresno, California, and this fight was broadcasted on the Zone. And in this fight, Oscar Duarte was able to become the first man to ever stop the former world champion JoJo Diaz, as he was able to finish him off in the 9th round. Leading up to the stoppage, I had this bout scored 77-75 in favor of Oscar Duarte. I could have saw it being even 78-74 in his favor as well. But just to take you guys through this fight round by round, starting off with the first round, it was a very solid round there for JoJo Diaz. He had a good start to the fight, was boxing off the back foot, jabbing, keeping Duarte at bay, and he took the first round. Round number 2, however, Duarte started landing heavier shots. Looked like he was sort of building a rhythm a bit. Much more solid round there for him. Then round number 3. This was a really tight round. It really could have went either way, in my opinion. The earlier part of the round, Oscar Duarte had some very good power shots. However, in the later stage of the round, JoJo Diaz had some very good boxing off the back foot, landing some very nice looking counters. He had a very good end to the round, which is why I edged it to him. But then round number 4, this was also a very tight round. I just gave it to JoJo Diaz as well, because I thought that he just had some of the cleaner shots, some of the more effective scoring shots, despite Duarte being the one jumping forward and throwing a lot of combinations. I just thought that JoJo landed cleaner. But then round number 5, this is really where Oscar Duarte started to build a rhythm. He was able to wobble Diaz, and this was really the first time I've ever seen Diaz really hurt, as he was wobbled with a huge right hand over the top. And he was really battered for the better part of this round. He was wobbled bad, backed up against the ropes, hit many times. It was just not a great round for him. And then, it really just continued. Diaz was sort of shell-shocked throughout the rest of this fight. Round number 6, Duarte was just pressing with power. Round number 7, Duarte was just landing the more eye-catching and explosive shots. Round number 7, as I said, very similar to the other rounds, just Duarte just with more power. Round number 8, Duarte just landing the much heavier shots. That's just what he was doing. And Diaz was sort of just shelling up, keeping it that very high guard, not really throwing back with effective offense, just getting hit. And then round number 9, where the fight ended, Diaz was just getting battered throughout, getting backed up, and then he was on the ropes. Duarte landed like a 4-punch combination. The referee stepped in, stopped the fight, and right as he did that, the corner threw in the towel. So a good ending to this fight for Oscar Duarte, obviously. Very impressive victory and a very good comeback win, obviously, considering that he did have that very tough loss to Ryan Garcia. He wasn't even performing too badly in that fight, and obviously since then, that performance, even though he did get stopped in that fight, definitely looks much better, considering obviously that Ryan Garcia just defeated Devin Haney. But yeah, very good comeback win here, stopping a former world champion in JoJo Diaz for Duarte. And this goes in the question, what is next for him? When you take a look at the sanctioning bodies and their rankings, I'm not really too sure where Duarte really wants to campaign at. I'm pretty sure it'll just be 135, because I believe this fight and his last fight against Ryan Garcia was sort of at like a higher 135, obviously like a contracted like 138 or something like that, like 137, not either 140 or 135. But Duarte is a fighter that's been campaigning at 135 for really all of his career. So for his next fight, obviously, I would expect that with this big win here, I think they definitely should add him in there in one of these sanctioning bodies rankings. I believe so. This is a pretty high-level win, despite JoJo Diaz coming off of many losses. Still, I think this is a very good win for Duarte, and I think he definitely should be put into one of these sanctioning bodies. Maybe at like number 15, number 14, something like that, and maybe he could build off an opportunity there. Maybe fight for some of those minor world titles or minor titles just to build up his rank. But when you take a look at the lightweight landscape right now, obviously there's a lot going on. Lomachenko and Kambosos fighting for the belt. We could possibly, and also Frank Martin's fighting Gervonta Davis. So we just see a lot going on right now. Devin Haney moving up, obviously. So for Duarte, I really don't know what could be next. I wouldn't mind seeing him really fight someone who's top 15, top 10 in the rankings just to get another very solid win and opportunity. But as for JoJo Diaz, he's only 31 years old, but he's coming off of multiple losses. A ton of losses for him. So, I think it could be time to hang it up for him. Who am I to tell him that? But, he's got to make a big decision because he's coming off of many losses, has 6 losses. I believe at one point, his record was 32-1. Now it's 33-6. So, that's just tough for him. And a lot of these losses were close, but here he got stopped for the first time. So it could be possibly time to hang it up. And so overall, Oscar Duarte becomes the first man to stop JoJo Diaz, finishing him off in the 9th round to give him his 6th defeat. And again, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.